Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So hello and welcome Toastmasters and guests to Technopark Toastmasters chapter meeting number 66. I am Rajeswari and I will be the acting surgeon at AMS for the day. Toastmasters International is a non-profitable organization started by Ralph C. Medley to promote public speaking. Let me quote the mission of a Toastmasters Club. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. There are some ground rules which needed to be followed during the meeting. 1. Please refrain from making any reference to religion, politics, and sex in your speech, which may hurt others' sentiments. 2. Please turn off all the noise-making devices like mobile phones or put them in silent mode. 3. Avoid cross-talks when someone is speaking. And 4. Considering it's a virtual setup, please ensure that you mute yourself if you are not speaking. I request all the guests to put their names in the meeting chat to introduce yourself, your name, your organization, and how you came to know about the meeting. If you are interested in joining the club, you may stay back after the meeting and reach out to us as well. Once again, I welcome all of you to the Technopark Toastmasters meeting. Now, I welcome our VP Education, Arathi, since our president is not available today to open the meeting. Over to you, Arathi. Toastmaster Arathi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajeswari, for opening the meeting. Your video was not on, so we missed seeing you, but I hope you'll come on video in the rest of the session. My dear fellow Toastmasters and guests, a warm good morning to all of you. Thank you for joining the 66th meeting of Technopark Toastmasters. 66, that's a big number, isn't it? We have come a long way from where we started. And look at us, we have 16 people in the room today, one Saturday, and everyone has invested their time upon themselves and for the group. Toastmasters International, as a Sergeant at Arms Rajeswari mentioned, is a safe place where we encourage everyone to come forward and share their views, thereby learning on their own and helping others learn. We have a few guests here today, and I would take a couple of minutes to get to know them better. Can I ask Ashwati to be on video? Be prepared. And meanwhile, can Vishnu give a quick one-minute introduction about yourself so that we get to know you better?
Hi, everybody. Great to meet all of you guys. So in terms of introduction, I'm basically from Trivandrum. Currently, I work at Nielsen as a senior manager. We don't have an office in Trivandrum. So because we have flexible working, you know, I operate out of Trivandrum and I go to my Kochi office once in a month. So I've been on the lookout for joining a Toastmasters club to kind of refine my general communication skills and public speaking skills, and also get to meet like-minded people who are really focused on improving themselves and becoming a better version of themselves. So really excited to be part of this, and hope to get all of you, hope to know all of you guys better over the next, a few months or,
Thank you.
or years, or however it goes.
Thank you. Thank you, Vishnu, and welcome to our club. You can attend a meeting as a guest, and then once you've made up your mind to join, you're welcome to join. Let's now move on to our second guest, Ashwati. Do you want to come on video and introduce yourself? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, Ashwati. There's some background noise from your end. Yeah. Do you want to come on video? Are you comfortable?
Hello.
Yeah, Ashwati, yes.
There's a difficulty
No problem.
joining my video. Like I'm staying in hostel.
Okay, all right.
So I'm Ashwati. I'm final year engineering student from College of Engineering, Trivandrum. So I'm really grateful to be part of this meeting. I came to know about this meeting through my alumni. They all said about this meeting. They were to improve our personal growth. It will build us as a good person. So I'm really grateful to be this part of this meeting.
Very good. Ashwati, thanks for joining. We do have lots of college students interested in Toastmasters meeting. I will also introduce you to Trivandrum Toastmasters, which is open for college students. We are more focused on the IT people. Now, but I would ask you to take a look at the meeting format, and probably that will help you make a decision.
Yeah, okay, sure, ma'am.
You can go on mute so that we can continue with that meeting. With that, I, as the presiding officer of this meeting, declare meeting number 66 open. And for the benefit of the guests, we follow a certain format in our meetings where we had 2 or 3 sections that we have. And to do the meeting conduct, we have someone called a Toastmaster of the Day. A Toastmaster of the Day is like a master of ceremony. And today, I will be playing the role as a Toastmaster of the Day. I stepped in for the president who was supposed to be in, but as he was not in, I took up that role. So I'm now taking up charge as a Toastmaster of the Day, and as TMOD, I would be conducting the meeting. Every Toastmaster meeting starts with a message or some thoughts that the Toastmaster comes up with. The topic that I have chosen is the cost of silence. Now, we all like to talk. We all want to talk. But sometimes we have challenges when we are talking in public, in a social environment, right? You see someone at the wedding and wonder if you know them, you don't know them, you can't place where you met them, and then you tend to remain silent and you let go of an opportunity to network, to find out someone and find out how interconnected, how you know them in more than just one way. Does that happen with you? It does to me. But I'm not talking about such opportunities. I want to share today is much more bigger and deeper than this. When you don't speak to a person that you know at a wedding, you're just letting go of a networking opportunity. You might get it back some other time. But I'm talking about crucial spots or events in which our silence will cost us a lot more. There are a lot more things at stake. My dear fellow Toastmasters, the cost of silence, that is what I would like to talk about. Imagine yourself in an office setting. A very important meeting is happening on, and you miss that opportunity to explain yourself. It's not just an opportunity to explain the great work that you did, but the opportunity to explain yourself when there was some accusation hurled at you, and you could not react. You did not speak up. Why? Maybe you did not have the right data. You were not equipped to handle that kind of a conversation. Maybe you thought it was not the right forum to air your view. Or maybe you thought it was not you who should have spoken up. My dear fellow Toastmasters, have you felt in a spot like that? Have you? Yes, there are so many meetings, there are so many conversations that we let go of. We do not take an opportunity, and there is a cost for the silence. Timer, you may please let me know when it is 5 minutes for me. Yeah, please. Thanks.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to share a story from my work when I had to assign a person who was on site a role that was below her designated role. Now, we had a few conversations, and then I actually forced her to take up that role. She went on to take it. But before taking that role, she asked for a meeting with me over phone, and she told me, Arathi, you've put me here as a project manager, and now you want me to go and meet the client as an analyst, this is not something I want to do. Then I explained to her why I wanted to do it, why I did not have a replacement and she was available and the client had given me absolutely no notice and there was no other plan that I could work out. She totally understood. And then she told me, yes, Arathi, I will do it because we need to do it. But I'm letting you know that I will do it this time. I was a little taken aback, but I was also impressed with her gumption and sincerity with which she said that. She told me that she was doing it. And she told me her conditions as well. Okay, she's not going to do it. And she told me why? Because the next time the client sees her, the client will always try to fit her into the analyst role. That was her reason. It was not because she felt it was beneath her role and so on. Now, that taught me a lesson. She could have remained silent. She could have remained angry at me and still go on to take because there was no option. Your manager says it's yes or yes. But she decided to have that conversation with me. And she told me, now next time every time I've assigned work to her, not just to her, to anyone, I always think, what if she had remained silent? I would have never known this. And she also taught me a lesson. Before I assign work to anyone, I think about the aspirations. I think about what led me to this position. Maybe I should have pushed back the customer for absolutely giving no notice. She could have remained silent when she knew that the outcome was very definite, but she chose to speak. She told me what it meant to her, and that made me sensitive towards any act that I was doing. I will be back more on this topic, but now let us get into the proceedings of the table, of the meeting. We are here talking about crucial conversations. And some of the difficult conversations that we have is getting and giving feedback. But in Toastmasters, we have a very safe environment where we can give feedback. Rajeswari, can you also do the spotlighting, please? Thank you. And to help me with the conduct of this meeting, I have a team of members. And before I introduce the team of members, I have a team of members who would help me with the session. Let me invite the general evaluator who would be taking the next set of crucial roles here. We have with us Toastmaster Akhila, who's an engineer by qualification and a passionate volunteer at PMI, Project Management Institute of Kerala chapter. She is the president of the PMI Kerala Toastmasters Club, and she has made herself available to be the general evaluator with us. She says she's quick to build network and very comfortable interacting with young and old alike. With that, I welcome general evaluator Toastmaster Akhila to the meeting, and over to you.
Thank you, Arathi, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It's a great day, and I'm very happy to be the general evaluator for today. The purpose is to evaluate everything that takes place throughout this meeting. And during the meeting, I'll take notes on everything that happens and which doesn't happen too. I'll evaluate each participant on the meeting's program and will give you feedback on how the overall conduct was. So at the end, I'll give my report. I am backed by my tag team. So I call upon our Toastmaster Prabin, who will be the timer for the day. Please.
Greetings, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As timer, I will time all the speakers today, which includes prepared speech, table topic speech, and the evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red cards, which denote specific time remains depending on their speech. For table topic, the speaker should limit their remarks to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will show the green card. So you can see my background, green card. And at 1 minute 30 seconds, I will show the yellow card. At 2 minutes, I will show that red card. For icebreaker speech, should be 4 to 6 minutes in length. At 4 minutes, I will show the green card. At 5 minutes, I will show the yellow card. At 6 minutes, I will show the red card. The individual evaluations should be in 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I will show the green card. 2 minutes, 30 seconds, I will show the yellow card. At 3 minutes, I will show that red card. That's it. Thank you. Back to general evaluator. Thank you. I think you are talking.
You're on mute.
Sorry about it. I request Toastmaster Anupkumar, who will be our counter for the day, to explain the role.
Yeah. Hi, everyone, fellow Toastmasters and dear guest. My responsibility for today is to don the role of our counter. When I actually chose this particular opportunity, I thought it was quite easy. But then when I actually kind of realized what all I have to actually really look at, I find quite nervous at the moment. But generally, this is what I will be actually doing. I will go through, listen to what all speeches will be happening today in general. And I will be looking specifically at the conversations for filler words that are actually used, like the ahs, is, the unwanted waits or pauses that would be there in the speeches, as well as any kind of repetitive words that generally we use in our conversations. So that will be my responsibility for the day. Back to general evaluator.
Thank you. In my eagerness, I missed actually introducing our timer and our counter. Actually, Prabin, our Toastmaster, is from Trivandrum and is working as a developer at Oracle. He's a new member since August 2022. And our counter, Anupkumar, is again a latest member who joined in November and is working as consulting solution manager at Oracle. Now, we have our grammarian Radhika, Toastmaster Radhika, who is actually a charter member of this Toastmasters Club. And she is a seasoned HR professional with over 20 years of experience and is head of HR at Uzonetel. She is passionate about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and also one of the key players in We Women in IT Forum. I request Toastmaster Radhika to please explain your role of.
Thank you, General Evaluator Akhila, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It's good to be back in this forum after a small gap. And it is always the energizing Saturdays that I always look forward to. As the grammarian today, my role would be to listen to all the conversation very keenly and then mark the good usage of phrases, idioms, and also sentences, words, and mark that at the time the GE report is presented, then I will also come back to explain the good usage and the not so good usages of phrases and idioms during this session. And along with that, I do have this responsibility of presenting the word of the day. Arathi has already used that word, gumption. Gumption is about courage, determination, nerve. And I can just show you the, just second, I'll share my screen. Okay, so I hope you all can see the word gumption. It's an informal usage, shrewd, but spirited initiative, resourcefulness. You can see the synonyms also. In order to achieve your goals, you need to have a lot of gumption. So this makes me think of all the words I have mentioned: courage, enthusiasm, resourcefulness, and moxie. Another new word, moxie. It's North American and then it's about the force of character, nerve, determination. So this is the word for the day, and I'll look forward to usage of this word by all the speakers during this day. And whenever somebody is using the word, please upload that usage. So this gets into our system. We remember the word very clearly and use it at the right opportune moment. Thank you very much. And back to you, Akhila.
Toastmaster Radhika, and supported by my able tag team, we'll be giving a report at the end when called upon. Thank you. Back to Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Arathi.
Thank you, General Evaluator Akhila, for explaining the roles of each of the key players. And we'll be back at the end of the session with the feedback when we have finished proceedings for the day. We spoke about how my colleague could have remained silent. Instead, she chose to have that crucial conversation. This is a conversation that came up in my mind when I was reading the book called Crucial Conversations When the Stakes, Tools for Talking When Stakes Are High. It was recommended to me by my manager, not in this context, but in another manager, when I was going to have a very difficult conversation regarding appraisal and performance. And I sought his help, saying, why don't you also join this meeting with me? He said, definitely, I'll help you. And he handed me this book and said, it's time you started having your crucial conversations. I'm still going through the book. I've read it once, but I'm just trying to recollect in the context of preparing for this meeting. But there are some things that I would like to share as part of this meeting. What is a crucial conversation? It is a discussion. It is different from other normal chats that we have, because a crucial conversation discussion, when there are two or more people involved, the stakes are high, the opinions differ, emotions run very strong, and the outcome significantly impacts the life of one or the other. And there is significant risk of negative consequences. So you can put that at your workplace where you decide whether or not to talk against the CEO when he's giving a bright idea, but you know it will not work. Or in your relationship with your parents, with your children, with your spouse, where you need to tell them that there is something that is not going as expected. So all these are crucial conversations. And the stakes are high, the emotions are high, and the impact is also very high. Now, we'll be back on this topic, but now let us move on to the prepared session where we have different speakers talk about a prepared speech, a speech in which they have already come prepared and they will speak for a specific time. This is called the prepared speeches session, and we have 3 speakers today, and all of them are attempting their first speech in Toastmasters, the icebreaker speech. The icebreaker speech is supposed to be your most difficult speech, because you're making that journey into the foray of Toastmasters. But with a lot of gumption, we have 3 people who have signed up today for this. And let us look at how our speakers perform today. Before we get into this, invite the speakers, let me invite their evaluator who would be looking for specific feedback that can be given to these individual speakers. The first evaluator is Toastmaster Dev. Now, Toastmaster Dev is working in TCS as a business analyst with more than 7 years of experience. He's passionate about public speaking and also plays a lot of badminton. May I invite Dev to talk about the objectives for the next speaker.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arathi. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, my target speaker, Toastmaster Jisha, is attempting her first project in the Toastmaster journey, called as the Icebreaker Speech. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce himself or herself to the club and learn the basic structure of public speech. Timer, please know the time limit is 4 to 6 minutes. All the very best to my target speaker, Toastmaster Jisha. Back to you, Toastmaster Arathi.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Dev. We will now have a speaker, Jisha. Jisha is also a very new member. She has chosen the path leadership development, and she is attempting her icebreaker speech. She is also a colleague of mine at Suntech, and that is how on her day one of introduction, she said she is interested in Toastmasters, and that's how I got her into joining Toastmasters. Jisha is now based out of Mumbai, and I now welcome her to give her icebreaker speech, which is basically introducing herself to the club. Jisha Binu, the topic, her title of the speak is Aim for the Moon. Aim for the Moon, Jisha Binu. Over to you.
Thank you, Arathi. Thank you for the introduction. Aim for the moon. Even if you miss, you will reach the stars. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I am Jisha Binu, born in the city of steel, Bhilai. Some of you might have heard of this city, famous for its steel plant. There are some qualities which I have bestowed from the city. One is the strength and resilience of the steel, and the second is to survive in the extremities. We have extreme of all weathers. We have the hottest of summer and the chilliest of winter. So as a child, as a child, I had a wonderful childhood. Being the youngest at home, I had all the pampering of my mother. I had wonderful friends with whom I can have unending conversations. And it's not only the conversations that we do, we used to have more of outdoor games, sports like badminton, and we were like a quite outgoing people. As a child, we all might have come across this question on what you want to become when you grow up. For me, the answer was, I wanted to become an astronaut. The reason being, I was very fascinated with the moon, stars, and the constellations. Some of you might have noticed in the night sky, like we see a big question mark in the sky. There is a pattern that it follows, which looks exactly like a question mark. Maybe because of light pollution nowadays, we are not seeing much of the stars, but maybe you can recollect next time if you go out into the night sky, just try to find that question mark. That question mark is called Big Dipper or Saptarishi. And it is a pattern of 7 stars. If you traverse through the last 2 stars, you will reach the pole star or North Star. That's what it's commonly known as. So this star is always pointing to the north direction, no matter wherever we are. So if at all, if you are lost in a place and you don't know where I am, just look into this question mark and you will reach the pole star. So this remained a child, even though this remained a childhood dream for me, to become an astronaut. I went ahead and I took the gumption of doing engineering. 4 years of engineering had nothing remarkable to remember other than long hours of college studies and an amazing campus. After completing my engineering, I moved to Mumbai for job opportunities. Mumbai being the city of dreams. It gave me the safety. I never felt lonely any time of the night. Because even though I was traveling alone and I was alone there, it never made me feel lonely. Because there were a lot of people around you. And for me, traveling from my hostel to the workplace was no less than a roller coaster ride. It gave me the same amount of adrenaline rush as if I am riding a roller coaster, because I was traveling on a local train. So my journey in Mumbai came to an end, a couple of years of journey, when I moved to Pune after marriage. So, and after few years, we were blessed with our baby girl. So now we are a family of 4 with me, my husband, my daughter, and our dog Bruno. Bruno, being the naughtiest at home, he always makes sure that I'm on my toes. My day, like most of the days, usually starts with a morning stroll. I enjoy walking and jogging around in a park. And once I'm back, I enjoy being in my oxygen zone with a lot of plants around. I enjoy nurturing and watering them. Basically, to say that gardening is my passion. There is no age for learning anything new. So recently I learned on swimming, and I can manage to float around in water without getting drowned. So, moving to the different cities and meeting different personalities, what kept me going was the strength and resilience which I got from my steel city. Now, taking you back to the same old dream of being an astronaut, one of the companies that I worked for has its base in Houston, Texas. So that helped me to relive my childhood memory by visiting NASA and the museums. So this takes me back to the same quote which I started with. Aim for the moon. Even if you miss, you will land among the stars. Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jisha. Your first attempt at a prepared speech and you did well. A round of applause for Jisha, please. Aim for the moon, you will land up at the stars. And there's a follow-up as well. You aim for the stars, you will at least land on the treetop. And if you aim for the treetop, you will be still on the ground. Thank you so much, Jisha, for that. And now let's go on to the next speaker. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Geetha. And before I introduce Geetha, let me call upon her evaluator, Kavita. Kavita is from Trivandrum, a software professional with more than 17 years of experience and is a technical architect at Akhila Technologies. She loves mentoring teams and adopting new technologies. And let me invite Kavita to read out the objectives of the meeting, of the speech. You are not audible. Not yet. It still says you're connecting to the audio.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yep. Sorry for that delay. Good morning, Toastmasters and guests. So the second speech of the day is also an icebreaker. This is Toastmaster Geetha attempting her icebreaker for the pathway presentation mastery. Now, the objective of icebreaker speech is to introduce yourself to the gathering, to the meeting, and understand the structure of a basic speech. With that, over to you, Toastmaster Arathi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kavita. The speaker today is Geetha. Geetha is a scientist working at Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment. She's also an active member of We Women Inclusive in Technology. Let me invite Geetha to give her speech, and the title of her speech is Down the Lane of 55. Toastmaster Geetha, over to you.
Thank you, Arathi, for introducing me to this session. Down the lane of 55. Is there anything called fate? If so, what is it? Who created that? Even when one is vigilant and cautious in life, certain things definitely will happen. Such happenings in life causes radical changes, and we will understand those changes in our process of life. Learnings that we draw from such changes, I will call as fate. One such instance is that I approached Toastmaster Radhika few months back, asking her to become as a secretary for a new club proposed by me for Wise Men International. Without taking wind out of sail, she asked me to join as a member of Toastmasters Club of Technopark. I was impressed by the scale of the prospects and value addition offered by Toastmasters Technopark Club. I came to understand that Toastmasters Technopark Club is a learning platform for public speaking, especially for people like me who is reluctant to speak in a public forum. I too have an array of my learning process to share with all my fellow Toastmasters and guests who are part of this Toastmasters meeting held today. Good morning, Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and my dear buddy Rajeswari, a very warm welcome to this ice-breaking session. I've been sharing few of the learning process that created my destiny over the years. I, Geetha Balakrishnan Sridevi, staying at Kontur Carnations near Infosys Trivandrum, is the eldest daughter of my parents and sister of two of my siblings. I was born and brought up in a capital city of Kerala state. Like as you all know, the state is well known for craftsmanship, and my father was a leading handicraft businessman during 70s. He was very particular that his 3 children must be given best education. So my schooling was in a famous convent school in the capital city. We all 3 were dropped in a white ambassador car, KLQ 7692, the one that was sold out in 1980s. But in spite of these comforts, I always loved to stay at home rather than going to school. The reason behind was unknown at that time. However, still at this age, I continue and join for get-togethers. Thanks to the technology advancement, I could keep in touch with most of my school buddies. After senior secondary school leaving, my decision gravitates in studying in government college in capital city for pre-degree and for obtaining bachelor's degree. I was fortunate to get through that decision with less effort. That period was really frenetic for me. I truly enjoyed the freedom without any benchmark as set in school. The most enjoyable part was the chemistry practical session. Again, my father's interference was there for my post-graduation studies. I was forced to study biochemistry in a very good department in University of Kerala. The campus life initially was not at all impressive, but slowly I like to be there for higher studies as a day scholar. Though, as a scientist currently with Kerala Science and Technology Council, Trivandrum, my soul and passion always gravitates for art, particularly paintings and with drawings. Finally, after marriage, I stayed in a hilly station called Palod, a place 40 kilometers away from city for a period of 12 years. Over a period of 1 year time, I was jobless. However, the teachings that I acquired from my life work experience classes on school days that we had on every Wednesdays helped me a lot. I was engaged in my own world and still it continues. Dear Toastmasters, have you ever watched a Mohanlal's movie called Tanmatra? Can you imagine when a similar situation you have to go through? If it is with your father, brother, or aunt? Yes, we lost our beloved father in 2006, which is an irreparable loss for the whole family. So after that, we could understand that a registered agreement was created by our father. The foresight of my father must be well appreciated here, taking into consideration of my mother's ignorance of possession of property and money of the family. She was also sick and took time to cope up with the great situation. However, she was a person filled of gumption, and she managed to live alone in that 35 years of our togetherness home, subject to the condition that all of our 3 children with their families will be in constant touch with her on daily basis. Tasks like the execution of father's will, taking my mother to a hospital, etc. were shouldered by me. Thus, caring, lending, sharing were taken care with utmost care without affecting the relationships. So, what do I gain by pursuing science on the other end? I have gained excellent analytical, conceptual, and integration skill. As a PhD student and a postdoctoral fellow, I have read hundreds of complex scientific and technical papers, summarized their central ideas into easily graspable chunks. I have also learned to search for information in a focused manner and integrate information gained from a wide range of sources into cohesive ideas. These years have also instilled me in a sense of discipline along with a healthy respect for deadlines and teamwork. But I lack the simple skill to face a public forum where I could open up. But the Toastmasters Technopark platform could easily crack my weakness. Is it all fate? I would say it is all our learning process. We write the script, set the stage, and play. If you rewind the play, these plays are screened in a single frame as a shot of our thought process in 5 minutes, and so on. So if you roll out the sheet of script, what it would be written? We all know about the famous and historic story of Parai Petta Pandirikula. If you closely look into that story, one could understand that in order to overcome predictions, the cleverly steps that were taken by Varaduji. Varaduji actually did not want to marry a woman belonging to scheduled caste. However, the designer plan of nature was different from Varaduji's plan. Finally, the story depicts how the union of Varaduji and women was made possible by nature. It is well inscribed in a seed of banyan tree, when to sprout, to become seedling, to a plant, to a big tree, how big it should grow, and when it must be uprooted by the calamities of nature itself. We could say that the architectural beauty of nature is such that phenomenal changes happen in our life in a sequential process and during different phases of life. The understanding of changes and learnings we gained or would gain, we call faith. Thank you, Toastmasters, for patient listening. I hereby sign off from this session.
Thank you, Toastmaster Geetha, for your sincere effort in introducing yourself to the club. I'm sure everyone can relate to you now. You had a time slot to speak for 6 minutes, and I'm sure you went to over 10 minutes, but I did not have the heart to interrupt you because you were showing us your heart. Thank you and congratulations for completing your icebreaker speech. Now let's move on to the third speaker. We are a little behind schedule, but we should be able to catch up. The third speaker today is Anu Kunnath. And before I call upon Anu, let me invite her evaluator, Bhavana Nair, to read out the objectives of the speech. Now, Bhavana is working in IBS. She leads the internal communications and branding team. She's a communication professional. And I would say she's the personification of the word gumption. Over to you, Bhavana.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Arathi. Good morning, everyone. The fellow evaluators have already explained a lot about what icebreaker speech is all about. So I'm the speech evaluator for an icebreaker speech today by Anu Kunnath. As the name explains, an icebreaker speech helps introduce the speaker to the rest of the club. And I'm looking forward to meeting Anu in this forum because I know her already, but I probably would get to know her better. My objective would be to evaluate the speech and the delivery style and help the speaker understand her strengths, areas where she excelled and areas where she can improve. Also, I understand that the evaluation itself is a learning process and I'm here to learn and grow with the speaker. I will be back with my evaluation at the end of the session. Thank you, Arathi, and back to you.
Thank you, Bhavana. Well said. The evaluation indeed teaches us about listening skills, about having that crucial conversation of giving the feedback. With that, I now invite the next speaker, Anu. Anu Kunnath works as a Suntech in Suntech as quality. She heads the quality assurance department. She's again a colleague of mine, and I've known her for the past 8 years. She has an industry experience of 19+ years. She loves listening to music and gardening. And today she's here to share with us the ice-breaking speech. Over to you, Anu. The topic of her speech is My Life's Purpose. My Life's Purpose, Toastmaster Anu Kunnath.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arathi. I grew up hearing this from all my relatives right from my childhood, and my childhood days passed by thinking as to why they are always petty. Just as you guys are intrigued as to why is there a lot of sympathy and empathy towards Mirechi and Bhaskararan, I was also intrigued as a kid. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I am Anu Kunnath, and I am here to deliver my icebreaker speech today, which is my life's purpose. Before getting into the speech, let me first introduce Mirechi and Bhaskararan to you. Yes, they are none other than my parents. My young mind never understood why these empathy and sympathy was always directed at my parents and none others. I always was curious about it, but finally my grandmother, gave me the answer for this sympathy or empathy. Her explanation was, yes, my parents had 2 girl children, me and my younger sister. while all their siblings had at least one boy, which made them luckier than my parents. Okay, I was very curious because I was a very small girl. I was curious, and then she further explained to me the reason. She told me that we girls will get married and then we'll go and settle with our husbands and their family, leaving our parents all alone. While if it was a boy, they'll take care of their parents till the end of their life, and it is always boys who are better than girls. So that was the explanation given to me. I was 10-year-old at that time, and I thought it was a reality. Okay. But then as I grew up, I understood, girls are not that weak after all. And then I tried exploring ways to change my parents' fate. Okay. I wanted to do something that only boys could do. How could I make a change to my parents' fate? And how could I take care of them as any boy child could do? Now, coming from a middle-class family, my first answer to my question was, you study hard. You study hard, fetch a good job, and then you take care of your parents. And that is what I did. At school, I used to study very hard, and I tried to ensure that I get the best in all the classes. And then thanks to my parents who sent me to the best of schools those days. And in spite of all the financial constraints and the negative bias which was shown towards the girls, they always ensured that we got the best every time. And they never showed that they had a financial constraint, and I owe it a lot to what I am to them and how they raised me and my sister up. Okay, now, those days we had only two options, okay, to get a good job. We either had to take science or we had to take maths. We had only two options that I was aware of, engineering or medicine. And obviously, I chose biology plus maths because my passion was always biology. I loved biology. I hated maths. But I took biology plus maths. But then what happened later, I realized being a doctor takes a lot of time. Okay, so it's not that easy. Now, if you have to, grow up and help my parents, it is easier to be an engineer, get a job in 4 years, and then you go and help them. Then what I did, I surpassed my ambition, and I took engineering and dropped my ambition of becoming a doctor. That is how I started. Now, my 4 years in engineering college was always a roller coaster ride because I was battling with subjects which I never liked. Maths, science, and all these. The teachers used to come and they used to explain all these things. I used to hate everything. But then I always had this goal in my mind, that is somehow study, get good marks, and get good jobs. So what I did was I stayed focused and tried to ensure that I got good marks from there also. And I continued by studies, and I crossed all the milestones and finally passed in 2001. Okay. Now, 2001 was a time when we had a recession coming in. And then in spite of the recession, I somehow managed to get a small job in Chennai, which was my first job. Now, that is how I started. I still remember the day I got my first salary, and I sent more than half of what I got to my parents. Now, that was a dream come true for me because that was something that I always dreamed of right from my childhood. Now, from that day to today, 20 years down the lane today, I have tried to ensure that my parents have it all. Bringing them from Calicut to Trivandrum because they felt very insecure there without us. Then taking them to their first international trip, taking them for all their medical checkups every month, doing their grocery shoppings, and providing them with everything that a parent requires. Me and my sister try to ensure that we do it for them. Okay, so that is how I try to prove that, yes, it is not just boys, even girls can do just as boys can do. I would never say that, girls are a bit lower than boys, but then I don't know why my society those days were a lot biased, and then they always felt that it was only boys who could take care of their parents, and I wanted to prove it wrong. You wouldn't be surprised if I tell you that even when my best friend Anu proposed to me, one of the qualification criteria that I gave to him was the way he took care of his parents. I knew that just as he took care of his parents, he'll take care of my parents too, and that is how I said a yes to him. So that is one of the stories there. Now that was it. That was my journey as a girl child, and trying to provide the best to my parents, and trying to prove that the society is wrong. I think times have changed a lot now, but then those days we had to really prove it that we are also, equal as boys at home. Now, one of the greatest irony that happened was once one my younger child came back to me and told me that she overheard some of my relatives saying, Anu, Binu, Makkalai ulladanu Meerechi, Bhaskaretante Bhagyam. Now, that was the greatest irony. And, I've heard that and then I just smiled. I had nothing else to tell her. Okay, so that is all. That was my story, and it was great talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anu, for taking us through a wonderful storytelling session. It was really engaging. And in spite of knowing you for 7 years at Suntech, there are so many things I learned about you. I did not know that you and Anup had a love marriage. Now that is a topic for another speech, and we will look forward for that. My dear fellow Toastmasters, I hope you enjoyed the ice-breaking session of these 3 new Toastmasters as they take the first step into their official Toastmaster journey. Now that is the end of the prepared speech, and now we will have a quick look at the next session, which is the table topic session, which is a much loved session. Our table topic speaker is Rajeswari. Rajeswari is a travel enthusiast and a foodie. Let me invite Rajeswari without much ado. Rajeswari, we will limit this to 2 or 3 sessions just to get a feel for people who did not have any speaking roles today. With that, I invite Rajeswari as the table topics master. Over to you, Rajeswari, to explain the role and to take over.
Sure, thank you, Toastmaster Arathi. Am I audible?
Yes. Would you be coming on video?
My network is little fluctuating, so
Okay,
anyway,
no
I'm screen sharing. So yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So So table topics, here we give an opportunity for impromptu speech to all the participants. We will give you a topic, and also you have to speak for a minute or 2 for the topics given. So it will be a fun journey. I invite everyone to join and give it a try. Our timer will give you the color cards based on which you can decide when to stop. It will be fun. I invite everyone to come forward and raise your hands. So who want to go first? Adi, you want to choose people?
We'll give Radhika a chance just to break the ice.
Okay. So Radhika?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. So here comes the first topic. Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is what it takes to sit down and listen. A famous quote by Winston Churchill. Over to you, Toastmaster Radhika.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Table topic master Rajeswari. What a wonderful topic. It links up to the theme of the day, the cost of silence, and also to the word of the day, Gumption. Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage also means that you have to sit down and listen. Wow. So if you look at the Toastmaster framework, this is the essence of Toastmaster, the framework as well. We have roles where we have to speak up, and then we have roles that forces us to sit back and listen to. So all the qualities of listening to other people, being inclusive and getting new ideas, open to new thoughts, that gets addressed when you sit back and listen. It takes a lot of courage. Speaking up, yes, that we all have heard that, speaking up takes a lot of courage, standing up, addressing the crowd, addressing the audience. But it also takes a lot of courage, and it means a lot to sit back and listen. because that is when we listen to more ideas, more concept, other people's thoughts. That is exactly what we need to do more, because that is what we will be able to bring an inclusive world. That comes back to the DEI topic that I'm very keen on. So we will get to this topic again later, but I love the topic. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Yes, it takes courage to speak up. It also takes more courage to sit back and listen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Radhika, for that wonderful table topic speech. So who want to go next? Let me share my screen as well.
Guest Vishnu, would you want to try? You can speak for 2 minutes on the topic that is displayed.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. Sure, I can give this a shot.
Yeah.
Radhika,
Rajeshwari, we cannot see anything.
Yeah, it's coming up. So I was waiting for somebody to pick that up.
Yeah, that's Vishnu.
Yeah, yeah. Are you able to see my screen?
I cannot see your screen, but I can see
the. So I'll read out for you. Every person has the intellectual right to speak their mind out. Every person has the intellectual right to speak their mind out. Over to you, Toastmaster Vishnu.
Got it. So I guess the topic is every person has the intellectual right to speak their mind out. And I think it is actually really an accurate way of putting it across, because different people have different perspectives, right? So we have different life experiences. We have gone through different life journeys. The training that we have in terms of education and everything is really different, right? So now, unless we actually speak our mind out in a respectful manner to others won't be able to appreciate, or they may not even understand our point of view, right? So I really feel that that it is our duty and our responsibility, right? It's our duty to kind of speak our point of view, and it's our responsibility to kind of give others the right to speak their mind of view and their point of view, and pay attention and understand that point of view, and that's when it becomes a conversation, right? And that's where we are able to make progress. Thank you all.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishnu. It takes a lot of gumption to come up and speak for an audience without notice, and appreciate your spirit. So who wants to go next? All are simple topics, as you can see.
Yes, Ashwati, do you want to try if you're comfortable? Ashwati, are you ready? No pressure. If you don't want to do it this meeting, that is also fine. But we can't hear you, even though you're unmuted. All right, we will pass it. We'll let her speak the next time. Perhaps a general evaluator, Akhila, you would want to try.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so here comes your topic, Toastmaster Akhila. The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. Over to you, Toastmaster Akhila.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajeswari. I believe everyone would like to go and say that we have the power to do this or that. So it is sure everyone will have that gumption in them to go and do a successful task. But then if you are restrained to do something, you believe that there is something pulling you back, or you don't have the authority to do that. So it is all in the mindset, I will say. If it is nobody there to give you power or taking away the power. So it is for us to assume and take responsibility of what we have to do and set our goals and act upon it. Resigning and then just saying that I don't have the power, so I didn't do it, is not the way I believe it should be. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akhila. What a great attempt. Who else want to give it a try?
I think for want of time, we will wind up here, Rajeswari.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Toastmaster Rajeswari, for stepping in as the table topics. When we typically have a long meeting, we skip the table topics so that we can finish on time. But table topics is our most popular session, and we did not want to cut down on that. So just a little glimpse of what it is to speak on your feet, unprepared. With that, we complete the second session and move on to the third session, which is our most important and the learning session, which is the feedback session, the evaluation and feedback session. And to conduct the feedback and evaluation session, I invite back the general evaluator, Toastmaster Akhila. Over to you, Akhila.
Thank you, TMOD, Arathi. Welcome all again, Toastmasters. So it is all about learning from taking the feedbacks from our fellow Toastmasters. I invite now for the evaluation of speeches, the feedbacks from our 3 evaluators. So first I call upon Toastmaster Dev to give his feedback.
First of all, congratulations to Toastmaster Jisha for starting a Toastmaster journey with a lot of gumption. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guest. How many of you thought it is an icebreaker speech? I didn't feel like that. It was somewhat like a level 2 speech. The way she has expressed herself, it was a well-experienced speech. Couple of good things which I found this speech is content. They always say content is the king. And in this particular speech, it was an excellent content. The way she told about her birthplace, her family, her aspiration, her goals, her hobbies, the entire thing was packaged in such a way that we were able to know completely about her. And especially how she was able to relate the place where she was born, like for an example, City of Steel, City of Dream, to how that place has impacted her life, in her personal life, the entire journey. The way she has related those two was simply superb. And she has a very, very good knack of explaining about a description about a place. She took us to the place actually, even we are not there physically. And she has a good sense of humor. If you closely see, when she told about engineering, 4 years of nothing, most of us in the engineering in this group would relate to it. And the way she has concluded it, that is the one thing we always listen to a speech. We want some message for everyone. She has aimed for the moon, and you will end up in stars. It's not just a title or the conclusion, but the entire speech, if you closely observe, it was relatable. She has aspired for something bigger, and if you just aspire for something bigger, definitely you'll end up in the stars. The way she told about her aspiration to become an astronaut, and where she had an opportunity down the line to actually be there, shows us that the title, the conclusion, and the entire speech were all together and cohesive. And also, as always, icebreaker speech, we don't evaluate bigger way, but 2 things again I want to have to improve upon is her hand gestures. I think fortunately she was standing and speaking, but still the only I could not able to see a hand portion of her gestures. Only the voice was coming, and the hand gestures was not visible for me. There would have a lot of areas where she could have used her hands to the maximum extent. Like for an example, when she would have told, "I want to be the astronaut," which is like something on top place where she want to work, she could have used her hands. And I feel she was a little bit nervous in terms of in some areas. And second thing I wanted to improve is, as it is an icebreaker, everyone will have a little bit of nervousness, but a little bit of smile throughout the speech would have elevated. But to be precise, she had a smile. She had a smile when she told about the dog Bruno, and it was instantly she was smiling. I think that smile, if she has brought in throughout the speech, it would have little bit elevated her speech. But overall, you had a fantastic content, and the description of place, awesome. And you had a conclusion, the key takeaway message for us. If you can work upon you a little bit on your gestures part by using your hand to correlate what you are saying in word, and a little bit of smile throughout your speech will elevate your speech. All the very best, and back to you, General Evaluation.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dev, for the wonderful evaluation of Toastmaster Jisha's speech. Now I call upon Toastmaster Kavita for her feedback on Toastmaster Geetha's icebreaker speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akhila. So we just saw a iron will lady, a lady with gumption, a lot of gumption, come and stop the time and deliver a convincing, emotional, and a confident speech. So congratulations, Toastmaster Geetha. That was a very nicely packaged speech where you have packed in a lot of things from your life. We could get a very good introduction to your journey, your childhood, the way you describe the car. I was thinking about the car, the white car. I had never seen people come in a white ambassador car to school. So you took us onto a journey, but it was a kind of a long journey. And the way it was expressed, you were emotional at times. We could, from your voice, I could judge, I could see the emotion. At points, I could judge, I could see an anger in your thought. Like, you spoke about difficult topics we usually avoid, topics like inheritance, will, something very necessary, but yet people ignore those things. So from sweet things to the tough and the conviction which you spoke. And so I was just amazed. It was an amazing journey. It was a long journey. Let me make that clear once again. Let's try to stick to the time. In your next speech, please try to, maybe you can improve on that, try to stick to the time. And there were a lot of things I explained, a lot of things packed into it. So along the journey, like when you, I was kind of losing track of what was happening. So if you could make the speech kind of condensed, stick to a topic, and even around the topic, in the you could do more. I believe you can do more justice to the 5 minutes you have. Overall, it was a power-packed speech, very confident, very strong gumption, as I cannot stop using that word again and again, especially for your speech. Icebreaker, very good icebreaker. We could, for taking us down your journey of, I believe that 55 was the age. I'm not sure, you didn't make a mention of that. That left the audience wondering what that 55 in your title was. Overall, a very good attempt. Congratulations on completing your first level, Geetha. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kavita, for the great feedback. Now, I call upon Toastmaster Bhavana for the feedback of Toastmaster Anu's icebreaker speech.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Akhila. Toastmaster Anu Kunnath gave an epic icebreaker speech today, I would say, titled My Life's Purpose, and with a lot of gumption, like the other speakers as well did today. In my view, Anu stayed true to the title of the speech. I'm sure whoever is present today would agree with me that you would know and remember Anu as a loving soul, a doting daughter, and a great learner with invincible focus towards her goal in life. Anu, you introduced yourself so beautifully today. It started with that intriguing statement in Malayalam, which you said, Pavam, Mere, Chim, Bhaskaretan, and we were all probably wondering, I was wondering, what you're getting to and who this Mere, Chi and Bhaskaretan is. Literally, I know that it had a strong message behind it, a message that how wrong gender discrimination is. However, you introduced the topic with a lot of humor and fun, and I loved that. To me, you appeared very comfortable. It didn't appear like an icebreaker speech to me. You used spoken language, which is very clear and easily understood. So what happens is while you're preparing for a speech, you tend to use a lot of jargons and complicated words, but then you used very simple, clear language, which I really appreciate. I moved from an evaluation mode to perhaps an audience mode, and I was not really looking up, what went wrong or what is correct and all that. I was so into what you were speaking, and I was listening very, engrossed in it. It almost felt like you were talking to me. So I did not find any language errors or major areas for refinement. But if I were to push myself to pick an area that you can challenge yourself, Anu, it would be by using the space better. You did stand up and speak, which is in itself quite challenging because I wouldn't even think of doing my icebreaker by standing up over there, but you did that. But maybe you can use the space a little better. I've seen some of the veterans move around and speak. So that is one area where you can challenge yourself. Better eye contact. And I felt you could, in addition, have perhaps closed the session with a punch statement with the same enthusiasm and the gumption that you had started the event with. So congratulations, Anu, for a brilliant start and wishing you a great journey ahead in public speaking. Glad that I attended the session today and got to know you way better. Oh, back to you, Toastmaster Akhila.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bhavana, for the great feedback. Now, I invite Toastmaster Prabin for the timer report, please.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Akhila. I will share my screen. Yeah, today I have timed all the speakers and the table topic members. So here I have noticed. So we have started on time, and the president call take 1 minute more actually. So due to that guest introduction, it takes 1 more minute. And Toastmaster of the day, Arathi, it's done, and it takes some 1.5 minutes more time. And general evaluator Akhila, it's almost take 1.5 minutes. And evaluator for speaker 1, it's not meet the timeline. It should take near to 1 minute, but you wind up within half a minute. And first speaker, Jisha Banu, it's almost covered within your time actually, 5 minutes and 30 seconds, 5.5. And evaluator for speaker 2 is take minimal minute actually, half a minute. And evaluate speaker 2 takes some more time actually. So near to 10 minutes, more than 10 minutes she take. And evaluator for speaker 3, sorry, for speaker 3, it's take near to 1 minute, and speaker 3 wind up their speech within a minute. She takes 6 minutes, and table topic all are covered within a minute. Only few members today we have participate only few members, so we have covered on time. And general evaluation address, Toastmaster Akhila, it's covered within a minute, within time. And speech 1 evaluator Dev done the evaluation of more than 3 minutes, 3.3 minutes and 3.15 minutes actually. So speech 2 evaluator Kavita did that evaluation within 3 minutes. She takes 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Evaluation for speech 3, Bhavana takes on time. She takes near to 2.5 minutes. Yeah, these are overall timer report on today's Toastmaster meeting. Thank you all. Over to general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Prabin. Now I invite upon our counter, Toastmaster Anu.
Yeah, hi everyone. It was a wonderful session. I would start with telling two different aspects. One is that I used to wonder why the class leaders used to be, all the notorious people in the classes. So I kind of reckon that because I can see my own repetitions over here. Second thing is that, I kind of felt that I should not have actually chosen voluntary for this particular thing, role, because I missed the fun somewhere. I got intrigued with many of the stories. So yeah, that was kind of telling what I felt about the session. So in general, about the counter responsibility that I had, starting with the introductory speech, introduction by Rajeswari, I felt there was a lot of usage of TM of the day, Arathi, I found that there were repetitions of using you and your in the sentences. So that could be actually avoided. Coming into the speeches, TM Jisha, the filler words like so, I mean, it, they were actually kind of used a lot, and repetitions of you, will, so, I mean, those could be actually avoided. But otherwise, it was a great speak. TM Geetha, I could not actually write anything being, repeated or a filler or an counter in there. So great work done there. Toastmaster Anu, filler words like multiple times, multiple times, repetition of words like okay, because, but, I, now. So those kind of words, and a long pause to start when, that is how should I start. A pause was there. So that could be actually avoided. In the table topics, Rajeswari using the word so and repeatedly. So that could be avoided. Again, TM Radhika, I could not actually find anything there to note. For the guest speakers, Vishnu, filler words like you, it is, right, those kind of words being used. TM Akhila, again, nothing to report. From an evaluation sessions, TM Dev using the and, but, she multiple times in terms of reference repeatedly. And then for TM Kavita, it was and, so, and words being used in reference. Again, TM Bhavana, nothing being noted. So in general, I would say it was a great session, lot to learn for myself, and thanks for this session.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anu, for the detailed report. Now I call upon Toastmaster Radhika for the Grammarian report.
Thank you, General Evaluator Akhila. It was a grammarian's delight. The sessions were so powerful. We did hear a lot of phrases and good usages, starting from Arathi, crucial conversation, the title, the cost of silence, the courage to speak up. And the beauty of this session was everything was aligned to the theme, the table topic discussion. Even when you look at the icebreaker speeches, the cost of silence or the courage to speak up, that was the running theme through the day. And content is the king. Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you will land among the stars. Sprout as seedlings, every phase of the life. Life's purpose, intellectual right. So everything was aligned to the theme, and it was kind of a wholesome conversation that we had in the last 1.5 hours. And look at the topic selected by the icebreakers. Shoot for the moon, fated 55, life's purpose. It was not an icebreaker speech. It was all related to inspiring leadership topics. It's about aspiration. It's about breaking stereotype, about age, about gender. So, wow, what a power pack session. And then you look at the use of word of the day, gumption. Again, a grammarian's delight. Every one of you has used it multiple times throughout the session. Even the, icebreaker speakers did use that word. That was a delight. Thank you so much. And back to you, General Evaluator. Over to you, Akhila.
Thank you, Toastmaster Radhika, for the great report. Now, it is time for me to share some of my feedbacks as well. As regards the overall general context, let me say that we did start our meeting on time at 11:05 as per the agenda, and we had got the agenda on earlier itself with all roles properly filled. So we had our TMOD role also done beautifully by our Toastmaster Arathi, with the meeting also opening on time and having the guests introduced, the essay having the purpose of the club stated, all that very clearly done. Our evaluators, the speech evaluators, all three have done a great job by giving a very good feedback with proper improvement suggestions as well, so that it helps all our speakers of the day. All three speakers had done their, as said by our evaluators, we never felt that it was a icebreaker speech, for they were giving it very efficiently. One or two small suggestions, only what I noted was that for the speaker one, I had no much comment about that. Only for the speaker two, I had a small comment that, as said, we had that time phrase, because you had so much content. Yes, we want to know more about everyone. So we always get emotional about certain things, and we get recollect about all that happened. But one or two small things that I felt we were, it was like reading a script, so might be more of eye contact also could be done for our speaker to Geetha. And yes, for all the table topics people also, it was great. All the three, Radhika, Toastmaster Radhika and guest Vishnu had done a great job of presenting it. Thank you so much. It was a great session, I should say. In all, the total feel of the meeting was so great that we could imbibe new words, lessons, phrases. And this is the main purpose of this Toastmaster, just meeting with people, and in the meantime, get the knowledge also increased by imbibing all these new phrases. That was great. Everyone had great gumption, and the feel was great. Thank you so much. Back to our Toastmaster of the day, TMOD.
Thank you, General Evaluator Akhila, for conducting the general evaluation session very well and giving us good feedback. Thank you, TAG team, for pitching in with so much of details. I'm sure everyone has some takeaway from this meeting. With that, we come to the end of the meeting. I am conscious of the time. We are going to have to extend to another 5 more minutes. I hope this is okay with us so that I can properly conclude this. And before we conclude, I think let us vote for the best speakers. We will have, I'm sharing a voting form here. Please take a few seconds to vote. You will see that Geetha did not qualify because she overshot the time, but we will have others qualify for all the voting. Please enter your voting, and I will read that out. With that, we come to the end of the session. I would like to thank everyone. This is a very good meeting, a good participation of 16 with 2 guests. I will take 30 seconds to give each guest an opportunity to share your experience. Guest Vishnu and guest Ashwati, can you share how you like the meeting? Yeah, I guess Vishnu, if you could unmute while everyone else can do their voting. And the guest Ashwati, are you available? All right. Yes, Vishnu. Would you like to share how?
Yeah. Hey, Arathi, sorry about the delay. I actually went to the voting form and I was not able to come back to the Zoom window.
All right, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the meeting was really good, right? A lot of passion on display, and I felt all of the speakers were really well prepared. And yeah, I kind of intimidated by the quality of folks on the meeting, to be honest. So really a very good feeling coming out of the meeting. Thank you for letting me be part of this.
Thank you. Thank you, Vishnu. We are all pretending to be great speakers. We all started a journey in much worse shape. And thanks to Toastmasters, we have improved on the way. I really invite you to go forward with your motivation of joining Toastmasters. And this is a very supportive environment, as you can see. You will only have critical feedback that helps you. With that, I'm going to read out the survey responses. I will close it as of now. I have 10 people voting. The best speaker is Toastmaster Anu. A big round of applause to Anu. And I would say all three speakers were winners today because they did their icebreaker speech. A good round of applause to all the three speakers. Very well done. The best evaluator is Toastmaster Dev. Toastmaster Dev, thank you for giving very specific feedback. And I'm sure that all the three feedbacks would be applicable not just to the three speakers today, but to all of us. There is some takeaway in which we can all take. And the way the three evaluators did the evaluation, their style is itself different. We all learn different ways of evaluation, and we will look forward for more of these evaluations to come. The best table topic speaker goes to Toastmaster Radhika for sharing her view on the topic given. Well done, Toastmaster Radhika. And the best role player is Toastmaster Arathi. Thank you. So with that, I formally declare that this meeting is concluded. We are eight minutes over time, but thank you for so much for staying extra. And I think we should give a round of applause to everyone who played their first role today, including Anup, who's taken the first role ever in Toastmasters, and Prabin, are you doing the timer role for the first time?
No, second time.
Okay, very good. You're well done. And yes, Grammarian is a veteran. So, and thank you, Toastmaster Akhila, for joining us. How did you enjoy the meeting today, talking to Toastmasters, Technopark Toastmasters?
It was a pleasure for me, Arathi. Thank you so much for inviting me. It was great. I really loved listening to the speeches and the table topics. It was all wonderful, well connected. So thank you so much, Arathi, for this.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much, Akhila, for coming. And I hope that our two clubs collaborate more. We might have a physical meeting shortly so that we can meet in person, talk in person, and give speeches in person. And we would also like to visit your club. So if we can get to know about your club timings, we would also come as role players.
Yes,
thank you so much.
Well, welcome. Thank you so much. We'll surely, mostly we conduct it as on hybrid mode or virtual mode only. So I'll surely give you the details. You can all join us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. We can now sign off. Thank you for being part of Toastmaster meeting number 66.